Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Jane and Alex podcast. I am so excited to be here with you today. I'm Jane.
And I'm Alex. It is great to be back in the studio with you, Jane. And hello to all our listeners out there. We hope you are having a fantastic week so far.
Yes, we really hope you are doing well. You know, Alex, today we have a topic that is, it is extremely important. It is something we deal with every single day of our lives.
That is right. It is a topic that can make people happy, but it can also make people a little bit stressed sometimes. Today we are talking about money.
Money, yes. The root of all evil, or just a necessary tool? We are going to talk about all of it today. We will cover how to talk about prices, how to pay for things, idioms about money, and even some tricky grammar that students often get wrong.
Exactly. Whether you are shopping, negotiating a salary, or just chatting with friends about the cost of living, you need this vocabulary. It is essential for survival in an English-speaking environment.
Absolutely. But before we dive into our wallets and bank accounts, Alex, we have a very important favor to ask our listeners.
We do. If you are enjoying this podcast and you want to help us keep making these episodes, please take a second right now to hit that like button.
Yes, please hit like, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out, and it ensures you never miss a lesson. We want to help you reach fluency, so join our community.
Thank you so much, everyone. We really appreciate your support. Now, Jane, let's get started. Talking about money, it can be a little awkward, right?
It can be. In some cultures, talking about money is very open. In others, like in the UK or parts of the US, asking someone directly about their salary can be considered rude.
That is a great point to start with. Cultural context is key. But there are many situations where we must talk about money. Let's start with situation number 1, shopping and asking for prices.
I love shopping, but I don't love spending too much money. So the most basic question is, of course, how much is this?
Right. How much is this, or how much does this cost? Those are the standard phrases. But Jane, what if we want to sound a bit more natural or specific?
Good question. If you are holding an item, you can just say, how much for this one? It's short and casual. Or if you are looking at a price tag and you can't find it, you might say to a store clerk, excuse me, I can't find the price on this.
Very useful. Now, what happens if the price is too high? This happens to me all the time. I see a nice jacket, I look at the tag, and I am shocked.
Me too. In that situation, you might say, oh, that's a bit out of my budget. I like that phrase, out of my budget.
Yes, out of my budget is a polite way of saying I cannot afford this, or I don't want to spend that much. Another one is, that's a little steep.
Steep, S-T-E-E-P, like a steep hill?
Exactly. If a hill is steep, it is hard to climb. If a price is steep, it is high and hard to pay. The price is a bit steep for me.
I love that one. It sounds very native. Now, what if you were in a market where you can negotiate? You know, bargaining.
Bargaining is an art form. In a department store or a supermarket in the US or UK, we usually don't bargain. The price is fixed. But at a car dealership or a flea market or buying a house, you definitely negotiate.
So how do we start that conversation? You can't just say, lower the price. That is rude.
Definitely do not say that. You want to be polite. You could ask, is there any wiggle room on the price?
Wiggle room. That is such a fun phrase. Wiggle. W-I-G-G-L-E. It means movement. Is there room to move the price down?
Precisely. Or you could simply ask, is this your best price? That signals to the seller that you are interested, but you want a deal.
I have used that before. Is this your best price? Sometimes they say yes, and sometimes they say, well, I could take 10% off.
And that is a win. Okay, let's move to situation number 2, restaurants and socializing. This is where things get socially complicated.
Oh, yes. The moment the bill arrives. The check. Who pays? Do we split it?
In English, we have a few ways to handle this. If I want to pay for everyone because I'm feeling generous, what do I say, Jane?
You would say, it's on me, or I've got this.
It's on me. That is a classic. It means the bill is my responsibility. Put your wallet away, Jane. Lunch is on me.
That is music to my ears, Alex. But what if we are just friends having lunch and we want to pay for our own food individually?
We call that splitting the bill. You can say to the waiter, "Can we split the bill, please?" or "Separate checks, please."
There is also an idiom for this, going Dutch.
Yes, to go Dutch. It means everyone pays for themselves. Shall we go Dutch? It is very common among friends.
I think going Dutch is very fair. It prevents arguments. Now, let's talk about situation number 3, salaries and work. This is the tricky one we mentioned earlier.
Right. Generally, you don't ask a coworker, how much money do you make? That is often considered private.
Very private. However, you might talk about a raise. A raise is an increase in your salary.
If you are talking to your boss, you wouldn't say, I want more money. That sounds a bit demanding. You would say, I would like to discuss a raise, or I'd like to discuss a salary adjustment.
Salary adjustment. That sounds very professional. It sounds much better than give me more cash.
Definitely. And when you get that money, you have your income. Income is the money coming in. And the money going out for rent, food, and bills, that is your expenses.
Income and expenses. And hopefully your income is higher than your expenses. If it is, you can have savings.
We all need savings. Okay, Jane, let's move on to a very fun section, common phrases and idioms. English is full of idioms about money.
Oh, there are so many. Let's start with a really popular one, to break the bank.
To break the bank. This means something is very expensive, or it costs all the money you have, but we usually use it in the negative.
Right, like, I want a new dress, but I don't want to break the bank, meaning I want something affordable.
Exactly. We can go out for dinner, let's just go somewhere that won't break the bank. It means let's go somewhere reasonably priced.
Here's another one that is very visual, to cost an arm and a leg.
Ouch, that sounds painful, but it just means something is extremely expensive. That new sports car costs an arm and a leg.
It means the price is so high, it is like you have to give away your body parts to pay for it. My tuition fees cost an arm and a leg.
A very useful phrase. What about people who are very careful with money? Maybe too careful?
Ah, you mean a penny pincher.
Yes, a penny pincher. Someone who pinches or holds tightly every single penny. They don't like to spend money.
It can be a little bit negative, right? Like, don't be such a penny pincher. Let's get the good ice cream. But it can also just mean someone is frugal.
True. Frugal is a positive word for being careful with money. Cheap is usually negative. Penny pincher is somewhere in the middle, depending on how you say it.
Here is one I like, to be in the red versus to be in the black.
This comes from accounting. If your bank account is negative or you owe money, you are in the red.
Red means danger or debt. But if you have money and you are making a profit, you are in the black.
After a hard year, the company is finally back in the black. That is good news.
Okay, one more idiom before we move on. To make ends meet.
To make ends meet. This means to have just enough money to pay for the things you need, to survive financially.
We often hear it in a struggle context. It is hard to make ends meet with the rising cost of living.
Yes, it means your income covers your expenses, but just barely. The two ends touch each other.
Okay, let's put some of these into example conversations. This will help our listeners hear the flow. Let's do a role play, Alex.
Great idea. Let's do a situation where we are at a clothing store. I will be the customer and you are the sales clerk.
Okay, I am ready. Action.
Excuse me, miss? I really like these shoes, but I can't find the price tag.
Oh, let me check for you. Ah, here it is. These are $150.
Oh, wow, that is a bit steep. Do you have anything similar that won't break the bank?
Well, we have this pair over here. They are on sale for $60. It's a very affordable price.
$60. That is much better. It's definitely within my budget. I'll take them.
Great choice.
And seen. See how we use the phrases steep, break the bank, affordable, within my budget?
It sounded very natural. Let's do one more. Let's pretend we are friends at a restaurant and the bill just arrived.
Okay, I'll start. Wow, that was a delicious meal. I am stuffed.
Me too. The pasta was amazing. Oh, here comes the waiter with the check.
Don't worry about it, Jane. It's on me today.
Are you sure? It's kind of expensive. I don't want you to spend an arm and a leg.
No, really, I insist. I got a bonus at work last week, so I'm in the black.
Well, thank you so much, Alex. Next time, lunch is on me.
Deal.
That was fun, and it shows how you can refuse politely at first, but then accept. It is a little dance we do.
Exactly. Now, Jane, we need to talk about common mistakes. Students make some very specific errors when talking about money.
Yes. The biggest one I hear is about the word price. Students often say, the price is expensive.
Right, that is incorrect. A product is expensive. A price is high.
So you can say, this car is expensive, or you can say, the price of this car is high, but do not say, the price is expensive.
The same goes for the opposite. You don't say the price is cheap, you say the price is low, or the car is cheap.
Correct. High price, low price. Expensive item, cheap item.
Another common mistake is confusing borrow and lend.
Oh, this is a classic. It confuses everyone.
Let's simplify it. Borrow is to take temporarily. Lend is to give temporarily.
So if I need money, I ask you, Alex, can I borrow $5?
And I answer, yes, I can lend you $5.
You lend to me, I borrow from you.
Exactly. You are the borrower, I am the lender. Just remember the direction. Borrow comes in, lend goes out.
Another mistake is with the word economic versus economical.
Good one. Economic relates to the economy of a country, like the economic situation in Europe.
But economical means something is a good value or saves money. This car is very economical because it doesn't use much gas.
So don't say I bought an economic car, say I bought an economical car.
Perfect. Now let's move to sounding more natural. How can our listeners sound less like a textbook and more like a real person?
One tip is to use softeners when talking about money, especially when asking for money back.
Oh, like if a friend owes you money, you don't want to say, give me my money.
That sounds aggressive. Instead, sound more natural by saying, hey, do you think I could get that $20 back when you have a chance?
When you have a chance, that softens it. Or, hey, just a reminder about the lunch bill from yesterday.
Yes, being indirect is often more polite in English. Also, using the word bucks instead of dollars in casual settings.
Yes, it costs $50. It sounds very American and casual. In the UK, they might say quid instead of pounds.
50 quid, $50. It instantly makes you sound more fluent, but only use it in casual situations, not in a business meeting.
Good advice. Don't tell your boss, I want $5,000 more.
No, definitely not.
All right, Alex, are you ready for practice time? We are going to throw some situations at our listeners, and we want them to think about what they would say.
Let's do it. Listeners, imagine you are at a coffee shop. You order a latte. The barista tells you the total is $4.50. You hand them a $5 bill. What do you say if you want them to keep the change as a tip?
Think about it. The total is $4.50. You give $5. You don't want the coins back.
You should say, keep the change.
Keep the change. Simple and polite. Okay, next situation. You are at a store. You see a shirt you love, but it costs $200. You think that is way too much money. What idiom can you use?
Think about body parts or breaking things.
You could say, that costs an arm and a leg, or I'm not going to break the bank for that shirt.
Good. Situation number 3. A friend asks you to go to a fancy dinner, but you have zero money until payday. What do you say?
Be honest but polite.
You could say, I'm a little short on cash right now, or I'm a bit broke until payday.
Broke is a very common word. I'm broke. It means I have no money right now. It happens to the best of us.
It certainly does.
Okay, one last practice. You are checking your bank account and you see you spent more than you earned this month. You are in the what color?
Red or black?
You are in the red.
Great job, everyone. Practicing these small phrases in your head will help you be ready when the real situation happens.
Exactly. Talking about money doesn't have to be scary. It is just vocabulary.
Let's do a quick recap of what we learned today.
We talked about shopping, asking how much, and checking if a price is steep or affordable.
We talked about restaurants, splitting the bill, going Dutch, or saying it's on me.
We covered work, asking for a raise, and managing income and expenses.
We learned idioms like break the bank, cost an arm and a leg, penny pincher, and making ends meet.
And we fixed some mistakes. Remember, prices are high or low, not expensive or cheap. And you lend money to someone, but you borrow from them.
And finally, we learned to be polite and use words like bucks or quid in casual settings.
Wow, we covered a lot today. I feel richer already. Richer in knowledge, at least.
That is the best kind of wealth, Jane.
That is very cheesy, Alex, but true.
I'd try my best.
Thank you so much for listening to the Jane and Alex podcast. We hope this episode helps you feel more confident the next time you open your wallet or look at a price tag.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Tell us, what is the most expensive thing you have ever bought? Did it cost an arm and a leg?
Oh, I want to read those stories. Let us know in the comments.
Until next time, keep practicing and keep learning.
Bye, everyone. See you in the next episode.
Goodbye.